I was this close to losing a $10,000 worth or more client. But to keep it short, basically saved it. And the way I saved it, that's what I'm going to go through here, because I want to reflect together with you, because it's a great opportunity for me to actually reflect on this, and then you will get insight as well and can share some knowledge. So basically, a client month trial project. In the middle of it, I had set up a general feedback meeting just to try to understand how the project has gone according to them, and I wanted to understand the quality of our product. And so what I thought about strategic from a strategic point of view is that if you have a trial project, then you should quite early on have a system in place where you can get feedback to understand and interview and understand what you should iterate, if there's something to iterate or something you should do more of. Basically have feedback, because when you have the margin of weeks, then you can reiterate, and therefore you can provide as much as value as possible, so that in the end of the trial they are happy customers, right? And most likely you will get some feedback, something you can iterate on, and that's what happened with us. So if you don't know what we're doing, I'll give you a short introduction. Basically, it's identification of objects in images and videos for the training of AI. So basically, say we have a self-driving car, you have a camera, and you have a computer, an algorithm, right? We translate the world as we say it to a computer. So what we do is that we build offshore teams, dedicated offshore teams, that are cost-effective, effective, and productive, so you can focus on your business and you can outsource your manual tasks to us, like annotation. It's a manual task. So this client had a couple of annotators of ours, and he was very frustrated, super frustrated. Why? Well, he was frustrated with that he wasn't having one point of contact. That was one of the main selling points that he liked with us, that to have one point of contact, no administration for them. They don't have to hire people. He can just focus on his business, and we will take care of everything else, and we'll have only one point of contact. So all of the annotators will report, or analysts or annotators, same, will report to the manager, that will then be the point of contact, or depending on how many teams you have, by the way, but will report to the client. What had happened was that the client started communicating with our analysts, with our annotators. So he started asking questions and was curious, which meant that our annotators started answering these questions, which went down to a bad spiral, because he started asking questions, he started answering more, he started asking follow-up questions, and they started answering more, sending him reports and stuff. So it went really bad in the way that we started to over-communicate according to the client. Now, I picked that up during this meeting, and he ventilated. Basically, I wanted to go through the steps for how I changed something like a horrible situation that we were almost going to lose this client, to having the client like us, and then proceed with having us as their vendor. During this meeting, I just asked the opening question. So, what do you think? How are you? Like, what's going on? And then he started ventilating. I was like, oh, this is so bad. I can't have multiple points of contact. I'm getting too many messages. This is too much for me. And I thought you guys were going to be affecting in the way that only having one point of contact, that was why I wanted to have you guys. We were like, oh, we did not know that this was a problem, because we didn't see that he had communicated with the analyst. But he told us that, and now we have solved, so we can actually take part of each and every conversation that is going on and manage so that this doesn't happen again. But basically what I did was let him ventilate, because he had so much to ventilate. It was like a kettle. It's like, I don't know, kettle? No. Like, when you cook something and then you put on the stove, and then you put on the lid. It's like I just released the lid, like Pandora's, whatever it's called, Pandora's box, and everything just exploded. I'm like, oh, okay. So there's a lot of things that we need to talk about, a lot of issues. He ventilated, asked questions about his life, what's going on. No, wait, let me rephrase that, or retell it in the way that we did. So we're multiple people in this call, right? he gave us the feedback in a professional way, and we all kept it professional. But then I thought that maybe it's good if I take a call with him just outside of this. So I asked him in the end of the call, can I just speak to you a little bit alone? And he was frustrated, as I said, and he gave us the feedback and he ventilated. But then, as he's Swedish and I'm Swedish as well, so that helps. So we talked in our own language, and basically I asked questions about like how's life going, what's going on with the business, and can you tell me a little bit more of your frustration and stuff? Because he said that he was frustrated. So that's the thing. I just repeat what the client says. So key thing is to keep in mind, repeat what the client is saying. Do not add your own value words. Value word could be like I don't have to explain it right now. We do know how to do it in Swedish, but not in English. Never mind. Value words. I hope if you don't understand, write in the comments. Someone will answer it and help you out with that. So what I mean is that I don't add my own value words. I can use synonyms, but I do try to repeat as much as possible what the client has been saying in the exact way that they're saying. So repeating back to the customer, it basically is coaching. So basically repeating this makes them, so you confirm that you have understood it, first of all. Second of all, you show that the client did actually listen and understand. Third of all, you can write that down. So now you know, because now we have a game plan. Because what I did was that I asked him questions of how are you doing, what's going on, open questions. And then I lead into, so how do you want to go about so that you are happy? How can we achieve the goals that you want to achieve and meet up the benchmarks and KPIs and actually meet them? And then he basically gives the game plan himself with his own words. So what I do is that I just write it down. Listen, repeat it back so I understood him. But this is the power of actually having a client that knows what you want and actually having you asking the questions, because most of the time I've realized that people kind of know what they want. Maybe they don't overtly say it, but they have some sort of knowledge of what they want and what they're expecting. So you need to understand it. It's your job as salesman, it's your job as a businessman, as an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter what position you have. If you're an entrepreneur and you're in business, you need to understand the people you're working with. And he basically gave me the game plan for what he wanted to do, and then I repeated it back, and he was super happy. That's exactly what I want. Oh wow, that's good. And the funny thing is that and maybe we brainstormed a little bit together. Yes, I did come with suggestions, but first of all, he built a platform of the fundamentals, the basics of how we wanted the game plan to be and look like based on the feedback that we had after these 2 weeks. And super happy. And also I noticed that he was, because the key thing here is that not only to have the game plan, because that is positive in itself, and let them ventilate, super important. Ventilate first, then have a game plan of how to make them actually happy. But the third thing you actually have to do, in my opinion, is resell the value, resell the positive, resell, because when you have close the client, it's super important that you actually remind them of why they're working with you. And not only you remind them, have them remind themselves, even better. So what I did was that I heard that he said something that could sound like positive feedback, so I dived deep into that and asked more questions and like zoomed in on that. With the laser focus, I asked him question, okay, can you repeat what you just said about that thing? And then he repeated, it was positive feedback, and then I was like, okay, well, that sounds positive. What positive can you bring out from this collaboration that we're having? What value do you see that we have provided? And what has been valuable for you, and what do you like? And then he tells us exactly what he likes. You can use that as testimonials, by the way, if you take notes, or you just understand your customer better. But basically, he's telling me exactly what he likes. He's telling me how he wants to go about things, game plan, what he likes, the value that we're providing. So now I know how to sell more to him, right? And what I mean with that is that to continuously resell the value. Even though you close the client, you need to resell the value. You need to resell the vision as well. If you're having employees, reselling the vision is super important. You cannot just like in the interview have a great speech of the value providing and the vision. You have to resell it all the time, and also to yourself, super important. But to clients, oh my, you have to repeat the value. Have them repeat the value. He repeated the value, he understood how valuable this was, and now he was super happy. And the funny thing is, a side note, is that he said, one of the things that I really like about you guys is that you communicate frequently. I'm like, wasn't that exactly what you did not like? I didn't say that though. I thought about it and I let it go. Because sometimes I know how to say it, but sometimes it can just be confusing. You just have to trust your gut and go with the game plan that you have formed together with your client, and basically. But he did like that we communicated and are open in our communication. So we got a lot of good feedback as well from our annotation, the quality of the service that we're providing. Super happy, super nice. And yeah, so to run it through, basically the steps that I was doing was that I let him ventilate, I ask him open questions, let him ventilate, listen a lot, ask a lot. So I steer the conversation by the questions, but I let the conversation be on his agenda based on what he's saying and continuing, right? And of course, there's some things I need to know, like I have before the meeting I prepared some notes, some key points, bullet points that I want to go through, but mostly it's on the agenda of the client because that's most important for me. Then he gets what he want. So open questions, let him ventilate, then let him create a game plan so that you can create and you join in on the game plan, so you create it together on his agenda, on what he sees valuable. And then the fourth point is that if you hear something positive, or you just turn it into something positive by reselling the value, reselling why you're doing it, reselling to him, or make him resell the value to him and remind himself, so he reminds himself of what the value is for him. And so this was so it was a month project, right? A trial and 2 weeks. What happened then was that we had 2 weeks to prove ourselves. We proved ourselves. So in the end of this, so it was actually a couple of days ago, this week, 2 days ago, he said he was super happy with us. We had iterated and according to the game plan, and he wants to continue. So we have now our first official long-term client, because many clients want to do trials and short projects, but now this is one of the longer term, because they have so much annotation to do, they have so much plans with their algorithm. It's complicated. It's duly complicated, I can tell you that. So they foresee that they will have they need a long-term partner, and we're that partner. So I'm like, yes! So we turn this into something absolutely positive. And I actually think this, I don't know about this, but I think this can be true, because he got so emotionally invested into the conversation, or the whole situation with us, because he was, as I said, frustrated, and these are emotions, but we turned it into something positive. So we have engaged his emotions, which I think can make him like us more. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but I think that because he was he's emotionally invested now, that he values us more. I think that can be the case, but let's see what happens in the future. I have to think about that and try to analyze more, but with others as well. But yeah, so now we have the client, and he's super happy with us, and he wants to scale up as well, guys. So he wants to have more resources, more analysts working for him in the dedicated team, which is super good feedback. That's like the best you can get. We want more of your product or service. Can we get more? Of course you can. So to summarize, let him ventilate, understand their perspective, ask questions about how they want to proceed. They create a game plan together based on their agenda, and then resell the value of what you're providing to them, and deliver the best that you can. That's basically my takeaway from this. I hope you liked this video, and let me hear your thoughts about this as well, because I would like to hear how you go about to solve these types of, I don't know if it would say conflict, but these kind of situations, and turn into something positive. If you have any stories, I would love to hear it, because I learn together with you guys, because we're all on this journey together. Share this to someone you think would like it as well, and comment, and do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. Bye bye.